Today is Saturday, January 23rd, 2010. I'm Don Rich, a member of the ASHRAE Historical Committee, and I'm pleased to have Kent Peterson with me here today. Kent is a life member and a fellow of ASHRAE and served as ASHRAE president in 2007-2008. Good afternoon, Kent. Thank you for agreeing to be interviewed as part of ASHRAE's Leadership Recalls program.
Good afternoon, Don.
Good afternoon, Ken. I noticed that you're a consulting engineer in Long Beach. Tell us a little bit about how you got into that.
I was fortunate enough, Don, to early on in my high school years, which was in my junior year of high school, to actually come across a consulting engineer that was a friend of the family. He had an electrical consulting engineering firm, and I took on the job of being a draftsman and doing the bookkeeping for the firm. And after about a year working for that firm, the firm decided they were going to move. And I decided I wanted to actually do things that were more hands-on and wanted references for mechanical engineering firms. At that point in time, I actually went out and interviewed with several mechanical engineering firms, and I happened to come across a firm by the name of Sosocka and Associates, and John Sosocka was the proprietor of that firm. And John Sosocka, right away in that interview, it was before my 18th birthday, we hit it off very well, and he hired me at that point as a draftsman and to do his bookkeeping for his consulting engineering firm. And I would say that John has been by far my mentor in this industry. He taught me everything. Sky was the limit. It didn't matter whether I had taken the courses in college yet. Anything that I could actually undertake, he would actually show me how to do that if I felt comfortable doing it. And that's how I fell into the HVAC industry.
Help to have a mentor.
Tremendous help to have a mentor. To go a little bit further about John's mentoring to me. One of the early things when I was only a junior in college was he came to me and he said, Kent, he says, you need to be an ASHRAE member. And he says, you not only have to be an ASHRAE member, but I expect you to actually participate in the society meetings. I expect you to go to the technical committees and really understand and give back to the industry, because the only way we can make the industry better is to give back to the industry. And that lesson was really a life lesson for me.
You mentioned
I have a bachelor's of science in mechanical engineering from California State University, Long Beach, and of course I worked the entire time I was getting my bachelor's. I worked in the consulting engineering field for John Sosocka, and it made it so much easier to go through school, taking the thermal classes and the heat transfer classes and the fluid dynamic classes, already understanding some of the principles within the HVAC industry. And that, I think I was blessed by having John Sosocka actually come into my life.
how did you happen to pick engineering?
Well, engineering runs deep in my family. If I go back, a couple generations, I could actually say that what you're going to find is farmers who actually were hands-on with mechanical equipment. They really knew things. I was actually born in the Midwest in Wichita, Kansas. I come from a farming family and a family that actually owned a filling station that had a bunch of mechanics. And I think, my father he had a degree in both mathematics and physics. He worked in the aerospace industry as an engineer. And I have three other brothers, an identical twin brother, which I'll probably talk about in this interview, who's also an engineer. Three of the four of us ended up becoming engineers, primarily because our father taught us everything we needed to know to be good engineers. I mean, we were extremely hands-on on repairing automobiles, working on things, understanding how things operated, how to make them better, and that was kind of our upbringing within the family.
I noticed from looking through ASHRAE bio that you've been involved in quite a few HVAC projects. Tell me about some of them that stand out.
Well, I'm always striving to do innovative things in the HVAC industry. I mean, trying to improve things. And, if I go back to my early career days working for John Sosocka, I think right when direct digital control started to come out in the HVAC industry, and maybe even prior to the HVAC direct digital controls, where there was actually industrial controls, we were starting to apply a lot of these algorithms and doing the programming and trying to get more sophisticated algorithms that could automatically control the HVAC systems. And that got me excited. I mean, I actually joined TC 1.4, Control Theory and Applications. I felt like I was, the youngest guy by far in that committee. I think I actually joined it even prior to me graduating from college. And working, with such industry giants like Roger Haynes and other people that were on that committee. And what they did is they accepted me for the fact that I understood the new technology that actually existed. They understood the HVAC portion of that, and I think that's the greatness of ASHRAE, is that within our technical committee structure that we can share this information, and not only could I grow, but I can actually share the knowledge that I had with what these new tools were actually going to provide in the industry. I was also on TC 1.2, which was measurement and verification, and that was my first exposure into the standards and guidelines for all of our measurement and test standards within the industry. The two went kind of hand in hand. Those were my TC experiences. I also worked on SPC 13, GPC 13, which is a guideline on specifying direct digital control systems. It's never too early, in my opinion. I mean, if you have experience in this industry and you're working in the industry, even if you're going to school, I think that there's benefit even as a senior in college to start to get involved and sit in those TC meetings and start to understand who some of the giants are in the industry and starting to network with those people. And everyone has something to give. That's the nice thing about ASHRAE is they always seem to accept everyone in the fact that there's something that beneficial coming out of every individual person that's actually working within ASHRAE towards some common goal. And I think that's the benefit of this organization to everyone. It's definitely going to help your career.
Notice that you published your paper. How did that come about? How did you get encouraged to do that?
Well, some of that also was with John Sosoka. I mean, my mentor within ASHRAE, it was very important to be active, involved, and being able to share the experiences that I was having within the industry with some of the new technologies and share how that might help move the industry forward by publishing these papers. So there were symposium papers, and then obviously later in my career, starting to become president, publishing quite a bit of documentation relative to more higher level type where the industry really could go, the vision that I actually had for where the industry really could go with the technology and the development that was occurring out there.
What would you say, Ken, is your most important contribution?
Well, Don, I hope I'm not done contributing. But to date, I would say that my best contribution to the industry by far has been the ability to get others to work together and contribute and reach common goals for not only ASHRAE, but I think for the entire built environment that happens to be out there in the entire globe. I do have a gift to actually get people to work together, to understand a common vision, and to see what the overall plan is for, I think, moving our industry forward. I think it's leadership skills I've been able to take advantage of, and leadership skills that I gained from my experience through ASHRAE. All the years that I've spent within this organization, being around all the greats that were in the organization. I mean, everyone has shared little pieces of them with me over the years, and that's what's made me better.
How did that happen? Not just the work, but the
I've always been a big proponent of energy efficiency in the built environment. And in my entire career, I've known that as an industry, we can continually to do better. And I think the theme really came to me when I started to consider some of the possibilities that were out there. The possibilities existed that we really could substantially improve the built environment from an energy efficiency standpoint and have a remarkable impact on not only global emissions, but the energy that's being used within the world. And that's when the theme really came to my mind. So the theme, greater efficiency today, was the fact that the possibilities existed today, and we really needed to grab those possibilities and start to use them. Blue skies tomorrow really came out of the thought that when I was in Asia traveling, they had not very many blue skies, and they started counting their blue skies due to the actual emissions that were occurring, and they were getting a lot of pollution. And I started to really understand how precious blue skies are. And so the second part of that theme to say blue skies tomorrow is if we can act today and use the technology that there's today and available to us and use the knowledge we have to really push the industry forward, we will see blue skies tomorrow.
That's a good message. What do you think the biggest challenge facing the HVAC industry?
I think some of the larger challenges that face the HVAC industry today is obviously there's continuing demand on us to figure out how to design and construct buildings that are going to be more energy efficient. And it's not just on the HVAC technology itself, but on our industry, meaning ASHRAE, they're expecting us to figure out how to make the building envelopes better, how to use mixed mode type operation where sometimes it's passive technologies combined with active technologies in order to reduce the amount of energy that's moving there. The trend today is definitely in many areas to move towards net zero energy buildings. And if we're going to move towards net zero energy buildings, it's going to take an extreme amount of innovation within the industry to figure out the best technologies to apply, where to apply them, and obviously that's different in different climate zones. So, I see many factors actually facing us. The other, beyond energy, is really the sustainability practices that are starting to come out. And certainly, things like looking at Standard 189, the high-performance green building standard that's just been published, really starts, to me, that's a game changer in the industry. It's a game changer just like Standard 90 was back in 1975, where we started to finally have energy efficiency requirements for buildings. Now we're having green building requirements for buildings. So it goes well beyond just the energy efficiency. We're now talking about water efficiency and sustainable sites and the materials and resources and good indoor environmental quality, and then turning over buildings that not only operated efficiently when the contractor built it and turned it over, but how can we give it to the owner so they continue to operate it efficiently or make it more efficient as they start to move forward. Absolutely worldwide. Even at this meeting, I've only been here for a couple days so far, and I've run into people from all other countries that say these are extremely important issues. In some countries, it may be that the water efficiency issues are more important than the energy efficiency, but all of these issues, as the world population continues to grow, we're seeing more and more demand on the building industry to respond and reduce the amount of natural resources that are being consumed by the buildings, whether it be in construction or the operation.
I understand that you have spoken often about a dream for ASHRAE. I think you probably have already voiced some of the elements of that, but could you tell us in a little further?
Well, yes, Don. I mean, on a higher level basis for ASHRAE, my dream has always been that we're able to harness the resources of the strong membership that we have, the technical resources, the brilliant minds that are within this organization, and move them all in the same direction for the better good of the entire world. And there's so many things that we can do, and we can do great. And I think it really takes, strong leadership in order to push everyone in the same direction and use those brilliant minds to start to really understand how we can improve our industry. Whether it happens to be, reducing energy efficiency, whether it happens to be coming up with the latest technology in manufacturing for some of the HVAC components, or even harnessing the sun for HVAC for that matter. There's a lot of challenges that are out there today. And I truly believe that the brilliant minds that exist within this organization. I mean, it's unbelievable when you look across the membership of ASHRAE across the world, and just to understand how much knowledge really exists in those minds. And the fact that they are willing to come together and share that knowledge and not feel like it's proprietary to them in order to move the industry forward. And if we can continue to do that and continue to have a vision of where we need to move to in the industry, I think this organization is one of the best in the world.
Kent, before we close, is there any advice that you'd like to give to a young engineer who's starting out in our industry?
Absolutely.
Well, not necessarily in our industry, but
Just any engineering student that happens to be out there. We have to grasp the opportunities that are before us. And many times, I guess I was fortunate to actually have those opportunities come to me. Never once did I ever have the idea that I would be the president of ASHRAE. ASHRAE, every time that I was asked to serve on a committee, I always looked at it as an opportunity. Sometimes scary. I mean, sometimes I didn't feel prepared to take that opportunity, but it actually caused me, that fear caused me to actually go out and research how I can do this job better, or when I went on the planning committee, I mean, what are planning strategies? How do you go about these type processes? And this is what actually grows us, not only professionally, but personally as individuals. And I think it's those type of people that we really want to be the future leaders within this industry, within the engineering industry in general. Take the opportunity, use the people that are out there that are offering to mentor you. There's so much that we can do if we can actually work together to do it. We don't want to do it by ourselves.
thanks very much, Ken. It was a pleasure interviewing you today. And I appreciate your thanking for sharing your views and vision and recollection.
Well, thank you, Don. You know, in closing, I would probably have to say that I really thank everyone that has touched my life in this organization. It's been unbelievable on people may just talk to me for 5 minutes in the corridor, but I take those little pieces of information and it makes me grow. And that to me has been really the strength of this organization and what I've got out of ASHRAE. Great.